It's time to welcome into the show someone who grew up, or at least launched his career there in the shadows of the National Soccer Hall of Fame, Reggie Cannon. Reggie, how you doing out there?
I'm doing well, y'all.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? I just asked a question. I was like, that was you who shot that?
He's already roasted me. We're like
I'm not.
2 seconons into the podcast already, bro.
Nationally televised show that comes out in podcast format.
I gotta roast you back a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Got hurt by that one. All right, Reggie, we got to get into your club situation, man. Tell us what's going on. We read these reports. You're leaving Boavista over unpaid wages. Effectively, that makes you a free agent. What happened over there in Portugal, man?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that go on, and I'll try to keep it general. In Portugal, in the past 3 years, I've only been paid on time once. And it's been difficult for the players. It's been difficult for the staff. You know, news just came out that the staff was behind payments for 6 months. You know, they're asking us to go talk to the president, and these guys are, you know, having to walk to work every day in rain and junk like that. And it's, you know, this situation has been very difficult for me and my family. You know, every time I went back, I didn't have my visa because they didn't sort it. I would have to wait 6 hours in the airport. You know, my tax situation wasn't sorted. I mean, I could just go on and on and on. And I have nothing but respect for the amazing fans of Boavista, for, you know, everyone I've played with, played for, the coaches I played for. And, you know, it's been honestly very difficult because, you know, I felt the passion, I felt the energy of the club, and it was just a difficult thing to have to leave on a basis of free agency and having just cause, because there's just been so many things that have gone wrong.
But you're a free agent. You can go elsewhere.
Yes.
Okay.
Right now, I am currently a free agent. I had unilateral just cause to terminate my contract. And so hopefully there's going to be some exciting news the coming days, but I'm just going to try to keep it general for now.
All right, well, let's go to that exciting news in the coming days. Where are you looking? Will you be in Europe? Is there a move back to Major League Soccer? Where's your head at?
I currently, you know, want to stay in Europe. I still have much more to give, and I genuinely feel that, you know, I can make it to the top, and that's just coming from my desire, my hunger, and it's honestly about being in a good situation. You know, in Boavista, I was playing out of position, obviously difficult conditions to play in, so I'm very excited for this next move, you know, wherever that may be. I'm open to anything, but I really think that it's going to be a great opportunity.
Reggie, I want to be honest with you, man. I don't watch a ton of the Portuguese league. So tell us a little bit about kind of the level of Primeira Liga. Because if I go back to the World Cup decision, right, you getting left off the team, one of the strongest, you know, parts of your case is that you were not just in Europe, but contributing in Europe. And I would have thought, hey, the level of the Portuguese league would kind of speak for itself. So give us a comparison there between what you're experiencing in Primeira Liga and what you know of the level of Major League Soccer.
I'm just going to come outright and say it. Primeira Liga is much more intense and much harder to play in than Major League Soccer. And that's no slight to Major League Soccer. It's obviously grown. It's obviously improved. But there's nothing that'll compare to, you know, having a life or death game on the line when you're in the last game of the season. Your fans are surrounding the game, and if you lose, it's 1-1 in the 90th minute, you get relegated. That type of intensity won't be replicated because it's so important for a player's growth and development. And you can just see on the players that they have to give everything. It's not just, oh, we didn't make playoffs, we have 3 months off, we can go on vacation. It's real, and it's life or death over there. And as far as the World Cup decision, you know, I was shocked as, you know, anyone else. I was up to every camp for 3 years prior under Gregg. I had given everything, and I felt I deserved to be on that roster. So it was honestly a very shocking decision. And I understand in the game before against Japan, I tore my groin, you know, in the 55th minute, but you know, like that's just the type of person I am. I played through it, and you know, the injury played a difficult part into it, and I understand. But you know, that decision really changed me, and I had to work through my mental health, through everything to get back on the right page. But you know, I'm fully confident right now that my focus is on getting to the right club and getting the right move.
Reggie, you know, I'm a betting man, so I would have bet you would have been on that roster. You were pretty much in every single camp, of all the important tournaments. I had you slotted in there. Take me to that moment when you hear from the staff. What's the input you're receiving from them as to why you're not going?
Yeah, and I completely understand coaches' decisions. You know, if you feel another player is better, another player deserves the opportunity, that I completely understand that. But the thing I don't understand is the reasoning he told me. And Gregg has always been stand up with me, but I also feel at the same time that he gave me the wrong pieces of information to make that decision.
Could you elaborate on that?
So if it's a positional thing and you're telling me I'm playing out of position and that's why I'm not going to the World Cup, you then, months prior to the decision, you have to come speak with me and speak with my club because I can't control where I play.
Right.
I can't control what position I play. I can only control how I play.
Right.
And how much intensity I play. All the things I can control. Okay, so if that's a decision that you feel that as a center back, it's a positional thing, and we need a right back, and okay, well then you need to talk to the club, let them know that, and then let me know what I can do to improve that. Because all until prior, I believed 100% I was on the roster. I was playing well. I was flying, and so it was just one of those things that was a shock. So.
Back in that year, you were playing with Boavista, and I believe you were a third center back there.
Yep.
You were inside right, I believe. And you also played that under Gregg Berhalter at one time. So that does strike me as a little odd. Let's move forward. Now with this national team, what do you think you need to do? Where do you see yourself how do you see yourself breaking back into this national team?
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not very concerned with that at the moment. I'm very concerned with finding a great landing spot for my career and my family because I know once I get back to playing right back again and in a natural position at a club where the situation maybe is a lot better, I'm going to find the Reggie Cannon, the right back that can fly. And I know that everything happens when that's how Reggie feels. But right now, I have no problem. The decision of the World Cup, no problem. It was the way that it was handled. And I talked to a bunch of players. It's hard because not a lot of the national team players reach out. There were two, which obviously, where I'm very close with. But I was the one who reached out to Pepe, to Mark McKenzie, to Eric Palmer-Brown, all of the guys, Zach, to see how they felt. And, the first thing they said was, I have no idea why you're not on that roster. And, it hurts, but... it is what it is. I just have to move on and find my game. I'm sure you probably said the same to Pepe and Zach Steffen. Of course, yeah. I said the same thing. I sent them voice messages like, man, I'm gutted for you too. You guys are fantastic players, and ultimately it's football. It's the life we live. But I can't help but feel some players deserved it. It's just life, and you go on. Reggie, you're obviously in a bit of a position now because Gregg Berhalter's coming back. Your impressions of the rehire? Yeah, if he deserves the job, then he deserves the job. I can't control that. I can only control how I play. So, best of luck to him. And, I hope, he has a great coaching career. And if I'm called back into the picture, that'd be great. I think there's going to be a lot of things that's going to change with the national team, especially with the group that we have. I think it's, we got a very exciting group of young guys, just as, we've always had. But I think it's going to be really interesting with this group going forward.
Hey, Reggie, since you're in Dallas, why don't we bring it back to kind of the beginnings of your career? Because, you're one of the first guys that that proves the pathway, right? FC Dallas, up through the first team, and then eventually making a move on to Europe. We've seen it replicated a bunch of times since. What is FC Dallas doing that maybe other teams around MLS aren't doing? Yeah, so Oscar was a big part of that. I was 15, 16, getting my butt kicked by Fabian Castillo on the wing, and I was getting told by Oscar that you shouldn't be making excuses. You should be beating him. There was no excuses. I don't care if you're 15. I don't care if you're 16. Win the duel. And I had to learn how to survive. I had to learn how to win those duels. And I think Oscar pushed me beyond my limits, especially with the homegrowns you hear about, Paxton, Weston, Chris Richards. Yeah, I can go through the whole list, But I think Oscar really pushed those a lot of us and those kids to find the next level, and you had to, or you wouldn't make it. And just implementing the first team trainings at that young of an age, it really shows how much you have to grow and those levels that you need to reach to be successful. Well, let's talk about some of those players that want to reach those levels to be successful. Here in Dallas, a player that's making waves right now is Jesus Ferreira. Now, he's a hot rod amongst fans, and you know how that goes with fans. But he's proven his worth. Goal scored, assist. Where do you see Jesus Ferreira's future? Jesus has the quality to play in Europe. I think everyone knows it.
he's like, his touch is one of the cleanest I've ever seen of a striker in the box. You know, like relieving pressure with his first touch is something he's very, very good at, and he can kind of play as a false 9.
Yes, is he a 9 for you?
You know, I think he's a pure 9, but he can play like a 10 as well.
Right.
You know, I think he's such a free-flowing player. He's such a special player in my eyes. You know, I think in those big games, I think he's going to get tested more, and I think that's something that's going to help him get to the next level, because the competitions he's playing in, you know, he is playing against, you know, the teams that maybe aren't as strong as the big global teams, but he's proven every single time he deserves to be in that conversation. And Jesus has, you know, the utmost respect from me, because I grew up with him, I played with him, and he's a fantastic player, and he has the quality to do it in Europe. And I'll tell you right now, unless you go to Europe, you're not going to see that best version of yourself. You won't get it out of MLS, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But I do think he has the
To compete in this pool of 9s, does he have to leave? Does he have to go to Europe?
For me, I do think so. But now that Gregg is back, I think he's very comfortable with the MLS ideals and the MLS players, which is great because it involves everyone, incorporates everyone. But for Jesus' potential, I think if he wants to reach that level that he clearly has in front of the goal, that domination in the box, I definitely think that he needs to go to Europe, because it is a culture shock. It is a different level. You start to have center backs that know how to play against you. And nothing against MLS, but I think that level he will find.
I mean, it's pretty clear that Europe's ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
Reggie Cannon, man, great stuff. Awesome to have you with us here on Football Americas. You teased us off the top. You said you might have some big news coming. Give us a timeline, like how quick you looking to make this decision.
You know, I can't really get into the specifics. You know, we've got great things coming, great things on the table. So, you know, I'm really excited for my future, and honestly, I'm excited to play right back again. You know, the position I grew up loving and, you know, wanted to become a professional by. So, you know, I really think it's going to be a great opportunity. And so we're just waiting to see.
You watching this Gold Cup? Give me a final. Who's your final?
Is it fair to say U.S. Mexico again? Because I feel like that's not really fair.
I don't think it's going to happen, but you can say whatever you want.
I was talking to my barber's a big Mexico fan. I was talking to him again, and like, he's got no idea what's going on with Mexico. And you know, I honestly don't either, because
How long was that conversation?
The Mexico that I faced, it's about an hour. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's the whole haircut, but you know, Mexico. I don't know what's going on with them. They look different, you know, they feel different. But you know, all the credits to the U.S. They're dominating, and that's what we got to do. So credits to them, and honestly, I hope they win the final. Let's go.
And credit to your barber as well. There he is, Reggie Cannon. Thanks again for the time here on Football Americas. Great stuff.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.